Hi guys, how are you? This is from Call to Mind, and this is our visit to a site, and it's a part of our science project. And the topic is Salmonella and eggs. And what we're going to discuss is handling eggs safely to prevent Salmonella. So, we are going to talk about our site, our visit to that site, taking in care of some background data, what could be different aspects, our observations, health aspects like is it going to have any serious health impacts in the people living around that area, or in our case the people who are consuming eggs from this site. The location of this site is Delhi NCR, India. So you will learn the importance of educational programs that are required. You will learn how important is for vendors that basic training should be given on how to safely prepare and store food. And you will also learn about appropriate infrastructure like access to clean water and the sewage systems. There's an article by politician Menka Sanjay Gandhi. Recent study done in and around Hyderabad, eggs were collected from urban retail outlets and directly from poultry farms. Salmonella bacteria was commonly found on the shells and inside the eggs collected from the urban retail outlets. So I've collected, some recent studies which are done, and there are no references, but it's coming from the government source. So there's a mention that no one even knows the laws. Poultry farmers, traders, exporters, and even consumers are unaware of the health risk of egg contamination. In India, you have no idea where the egg comes from. There needs to be a name of the poultry from where they are coming, but here there is no mention about the where it is coming from, and that could be a major food safety issue. So it's nice to know that India, being one of the three largest egg producers in the world with 47 billion a year. As you know, the use of antibiotic is also pretty common with the Indian farmers, and this is no surprise. So we're going to talk about the cycle, this kind of a cycle which is going on at first is at the poultry farms in India, and the second is at the site where we're talking about the street food vendors and how important it is for government to embrace these street food vendors, arrange educational programs to build awareness that food vendors should maintain certain quality standard. So what we're going to stress on is the eggs are one of the nature most nutritious and economical foods. And in India, egg consumption is encouraged by the government. In India, the state of Andhra Pradesh celebrated World Egg Day on 11th October 2019 in Vijayawada. And the theme of 2019 was Eat Your Egg Today and Every Day. Free boiled eggs were distributed to the school children and old age homes, and they wanted to promote the nutritional value of eggs to all ages. So it's really important that the quality is maintained and there is no contamination, because that could be a major food safety issue. So if you buy this project, you're going to get as an first introduction to the local site and their location. Like in this case, it is Delhi NCR, India. And the topic here we're going to discuss is Salmonella and eggs. You're going to get is a background data kind of a thing where we talk about eggs, its nutrition, and why they are so important, and what is Salmonella, how does Salmonella infect eggs, and who is at risk of illnesses. Then we're going to discuss is the contamination aspects. So we'll try to give answers to question like how can I reduce my chance of getting a Salmonella infection, how to handle eggs safely to prevent Salmonella. However, if the fresh shell eggs, they are clean and they are unbroken, may contain salmonella bacteria that can cause foodborne illnesses. So the bottom line is eggs must be properly handled, refrigerated, and cooked. So while we discuss about the food safety part, we will also discuss about when we discuss about, we're looking at the site and looking at what's going at the vendor site. So we will also talk about the in poultry farms in India, what's going on there, or what problems are. I'm including some case studies, especially, there's been a study which has found lead and cadmium in the eggs that were tested. So I think it is really important, and I think you will gain a lot of knowledge what's happening in the Indian poultry farms and how the government is really struggling on the the quality and the safety issue as far as the eggs are concerned. And but at the same time, where the eggs are going to the especially at the street food side, where um, I'm going to discuss, I'm going to mention how important it is for the government, need to embrace these street food vendors. And there's a really need to run the educational programs to build awareness, among the food vendors to maintain certain quality standards. And how important it is that the vendors should be given some basic training how to safely prepare and store food. And while I'm discussing all this, I'm also picking up what is happening at our local site. So you will be able to pick up safe versus unsafe practices. While we talk about the microbiological safety, we also talk about the recalls, you know. Specifically, we'll talk about, I have talked about is 206 million eggs recalled over Salmonella fears in North Carolina, like tainted eggs from scare in Europe. So we'll talk about the recalls, and I'm going to give you a little bit introduction on the foodborne bacterial agents, which are the leading cause of severe and the fatal foodborne illnesses. A small note. So I'm going to discuss the common ones like Staphylococcus, Salmonella, Clostridium, Campylobacter, Listeria, um, you know, Escherichia coli, Vibrio, Bacillus, like some of the prevalent bacteria. So we're going to discuss like a little bit on the foodborne bacterial agents that are the leading cause of severe and the fatal foodborne illnesses. And finally, I'm going to conclude with the growing demand of the street food because it's relatively inexpensive and ready to eat food, and how it poses a considerable risk to public health, especially due to the poor, hygiene practices. So we're gonna really kind of stress on is the hand washing, and how the vendors have no proper education, and they're not maintaining the personal hygiene. And while we discuss these kind of stuff, I'm going to stress on stress on the site, um, and about what all observations were made, and what was going on at the site. How was the food preparation? What were the handling techniques? Was there a soapy water available to clean the site? Was there, a water, or was they were practicing good hygiene? Like, the food handlers, they may be washing their hands in the same bucket used for cleaning utensils. And, this may lead to contamination of the food with fecal matter. With all this going on, we have to remember that in India, the population is huge, and you don't need an epidemic. There's shortage of health providers and the infrastructure, especially if you're talking about the rural areas. So, looking at the healthcare system, it's now more important that we educate our street food vendors and make sure that there is there's healthy food and it does not jeopardize the public health. So if we take care of, if we start working on this issue, then, we can see that there will be less foodborne illnesses, less hospitalizations, and that's a win and win situation. I think you would really enjoy this project. You will learn a lot about the poultry farms and Indian poultry farms. You will learn about microbiology part. You will learn about food safety. You will learn about the street food, and it's really interesting. And if you want to buy this project, there's an information in front of you in the video. Be a patron, so you can follow the link. And I think it's you can, as you follow the link, you will have the information in front of you. You can either make this project possible, where you get some not the complete project, but some parts of the project. But if you want to individually buy this project, you will have another option. So there are two options. So you can pick as per your requirement. So thank you so much.